2020 U.S. presidential election. So this is a quick update for the Our Progress forecast for who wins the presidency. And as you can see in their probability profiles, they now have Joe Biden winning with an 86.1% chance of winning the Electoral College against Donald Trump's 13.9% chance of winning the Electoral College. And you can see this is a map of which states they think Joe will take against which states Trump will take. And in terms of the Rust Belt, they show that being given over to the Democrats, as well as the west coast of the United States and the entire northeast coast of the United States. And in terms of the popular vote, they forecast Joe winning 72.5 million votes, or 51.9% of the popular vote, against Donald Trump's 62 million votes, or 44.6% of the popular vote. And with a toss-up states, they forecast Joe winning 289 electoral votes against Donald Trump's 125. Remember, 270 is what you need to win the Electoral College. And when you remove toss-up states, they forecast Joe winning 351 Electoral College votes against Donald Trump's 187. And again, you need 270 Electoral College votes to win the presidency. So in both cases, they forecast the Democrats under Joe Biden winning the presidency of the United States of America. In terms of the popular vote, I noticed this share has come down a little bit. This is the sort of the toss-up or undecided votes or votes going elsewhere, about 5 million votes there. Even if you add that to Donald Trump's total, you would have about 48% of the vote going to Donald Trump. In that case, Joe Biden is still forecast to win the popular vote with about 52% of the vote. Joe Biden is up about 7% over and above Donald Trump. They have some interesting infographics down here. Here is how the race changed over time, and here they have the winning odds. And as you can see, right from the beginning, Biden is a favorite at about 70% odds of winning. At this point, Bernie Sanders drops out of the primary, and Joe Biden becomes the presumptive nominee, and Biden's odds just continue to climb. At this point, Joe Biden selects Kamala Harris as his running mate, and his odds have continued to climb and are now sitting around 85% odds for winning against Trump's 14.9% odds. Here's the vote percentage forecasts. And again, right from the beginning, Joe's sitting at around 51% of the vote against Donald Trump's 46% of the vote. And then at the point at which Bernie Sanders drops out of the primary and Joe Biden became the presumptive nominee, Joe Biden's now at around 51.5% of the vote against Donald Trump's 45% of the vote. That continues to climb all the way to the point where Joe Biden selects Kamala Harris as his running mate, and Joe Biden's up at 51.5% roughly of the vote against Donald Trump's 45% roughly of the vote. And we're now sitting today at Joe Biden at 52% roughly of the vote against Donald Trump's 44.5% of the vote. Now, this is the key graph on this Our Progress forecast, and what it shows is a bunch of dots. The dots, if they're blue, are obviously votes that are forecast to go into the Electoral College camp for the Democrats, and if they're red, they're forecast to go into the Electoral College vote camp for the Republicans. The size of the dots reflects how many Electoral College votes that state can give. So, for example, California's got this massive population, and it can give 55 Electoral College votes to the college, essentially, if California goes Democrat. And here it's, of course, forecast to go Democrat, and you need 270 votes to win. So California is a key state, Texas, key state, New York State, key state, Florida, again, key state. But some of these states we don't talk about a lot, like California, because we know where it's going to go. Everybody agrees that California is going Democrat. It just is a state that has those characteristics. So, but let's just move down further. I think right here, they're showing you the strength that Joe Biden or Donald Trump have over one another in each state. So, for example, California, Joe Biden has a 35% lead over Donald Trump. So that's quite solid. But what we want to pay attention to is the Rust Belt. Here, 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 and here. So let's talk about the Rust Belt. Minnesota, Joe Biden is at about 8% above Donald Trump. Wisconsin, Joe Biden is sitting at 5% above Donald Trump, which is a little bit less comfortable, to be frank, because, you know, as the election changes, 5% can go here or there. Illinois, Joe Biden is sitting comfortably at 20% above Donald Trump. Michigan, Joe Biden sitting at about 8% above Donald Trump, and Pennsylvania, the state in which Joe Biden was born, Joe Biden sitting at plus 5.2% above Donald Trump, which again is not a comfortable lead. These things can change as the elections evolve. But some of these leads here, like Illinois, extremely strong lead. Florida, which is going to be a great sort of, it's the state that's going to decide things among other states. The Rust Belt in Florida are where you really want to pay attention to, especially if you're just new to this. Paying attention to those states will tell you a lot about where this election is going to go. Florida right now, according to the Hour Progress forecast, and I have seen models forecasting other things, but right now, plus 1.65% for Joe Biden. But let's not forget that in 2016, Florida was also in the bag for Clinton, and things change. So plus 1.65%, I wouldn't be too comfortable about that for the Biden camp, because these things can change. Texas, another big vote camp, has Donald Trump up at only a 1% advantage over and above Joe Biden, according to the forecast and the way in which they've dealt with the polls in this Hour Progress forecast. Plus 1% is not a comfortable lead. So Texas could also, according to this, it's very close to flipping toward the Democrats, and that would be a huge vote bank for the Democrats. And then over here, they show the third-party vote distribution. And here is a very, very great graph. And it shows the popular vote, which isn't how you win. I mean, if you're not an American, the way you win is you get electoral college votes, which are more based on, the popular vote you won within each district in a state. And then that gets collated into sort of an electoral college vote, and states have different electoral college votes, which have nothing to do with the popular vote, or very little to do with them. But the popular vote's interesting because, if you win strongly in the popular vote, you're almost certain to win the electoral college, and vice versa, typically. So you can see, this is Donald Trump's popular vote. These are all the votes he's getting, or he's forecast to get, rather. And you can see his big repository of votes is Florida with 4.9 million votes, Texas forecast at 4.7 million votes, New York forecast at 2.7 million votes, in California, giving him 4,383,000 votes. But then look at Joe Biden. California is his big vote bank, and he gets 9.2 million or 9.3 million votes out of that. Illinois, he's getting 3.2 million votes. Georgia, 2 million. New York State, 4.5 million. Texas, another 4.5 million. Florida, he's getting 5 million off that. Pennsylvania, 3 million. So let's just check here. Yeah, so Donald Trump's getting about 4.9 million in that key swing state of Florida against Joe Biden's forecast for about 5 million. So we're sitting in a bit of a vote difference of about 100,000 right now in that key swing state. But so here you can see this is exactly the Joe Biden vote, and this is the Donald Trump vote. And so yeah, that's the Hour Progress forecast. And here's what the map looks like. You can go into each state and see what the percentages are and stuff. I think with these states here, they've made them gray because they're sort of, they don't know which way it's going to go. But Texas, they've given Donald Trump a 1% edge. Joe Biden in Florida, 1.6% edge. Georgia, Joe Biden has a 1% edge. North Carolina, Joe Biden sitting with a 1.1% edge. Iowa, Donald Trump's at a 0.2% edge. That could really go either way. And Ohio, Donald Trump is favored with a 0.1% edge. And so that's how it looks like. That's how it looks to everybody. Now, what I would say is that in some other videos, I've shown you that there could be something of a silent vote. So when you have something this close, Joe Biden plus 1.1%, then you have to ask, are there some voters who are a bit shy? And I think in the 2016 election anyway, we saw that there were a few voters who were shy, and they tended toward the Republican camp. Will that be true this time around? That's up to you to decide. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You figure it out. Put it down in the comments section below. What do you think? Is there going to be any silent vote at all? Because I think from the last election, what I would conclude is that you can't rule out the silent vote. It exists. The question is, how big is it really? I mean, is it 0.0001%? Is it 1%? Is it 2? Is it 5? And which direction is it? Is it pro-Democrat? Is it pro-Republican? So I want to know what you guys have to say with some of these very narrow states, as well as even, I think, some of the Rust Belt like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Depending on how wrong you think the polls have got it, those things could switch over. But as it stands, here's the model. You can see that Joe Biden is favored to win with an over 85% probability of winning. And that's where the race currently stands. So thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this, give it a like, give it a follow, give it a subscribe. And thanks for watching.